रावणचारी
वनचारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जन वल्लभा गिरवरधारी
जय गोपी
यशोदनन्दन ब्रजनरञ्जन
यशोदनन्दन व्रज नरञ्जन
यमुनतीरावनचारी
वनचारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
जय गिरिवरधारी
यशोदनन्दन ब्रजनरञ्जन
यशोदनन्दन व्रज नरञ्जन
यमुनतीरावनचारी
यमुनतीरावनचारी
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
जय राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे जय
जय वल्लभ राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे
जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा मई जय
जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा
जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय
जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय
जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा शिला प्रभुपदा
जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा श्री प्रभुपदा
नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
निताय गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल। जय ओम ओम विश्वाद्वरम परविराजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सतश्री श्रीमती डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, रामाचार्य श्री अधर्ष ठाकुर की जय, प्रेम सुख श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद की जय, श्री गंगमय यमुनमयी की जय, भक्ति देवी तुलसी देव महारानी की जय, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय, संकीर्तन की जय, महामंत्र की जय, हरे कृष्णा,
हरे कृष्णा,
हरे कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा, श्री गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, हरे कृष्ण माता जी,
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु,
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी,
हरे कृष्ण। So yeah, so we will continue a bit of third canto and then move on to the fourth canto. Okay, I will be sharing my screen right now just so that we have the context of the thing. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
yes Prabhu.
Okay. Now, if we look at the third canto, right, which we have discussed last Wednesday briefly, yeah, we saw, right, Vidra talking with sage Maitreya, then they are discussing about the creation, right? Then we, of course, we discussed about Garbhota, Sai, Vishnu, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, etc., etc. Then we said Kumaras appeared. Then, we went on to discuss, how Jaya, Vijaya were cursed by the Kumaras, etc. And we went on and spoke about Kadama Muni and Devahuti Devi getting married, and Devahuti Devi desiring a son, and Kadama Muni giving her Kapila Mahamuni, and Kapila Mahamuni instructing the Sankhya Yoga to Devahuti Devi. Yes? Which clearly described how the various fruitive activities are entangling and how, only devotion to the Lord is very, very liberating. Yes? That was the gist of what we discussed. Do you all agree with me?
Yes, Prabhu.
So now, today, we are diving deeper a bit into third canto and then moving on to the fourth canto. Why do we need to dive deeper into this? If you see one of the chapters there, right, it talks about Brahma creating the four Kumaras and others. Right? When Brahma created the four Kumaras, he wanted them to become the Prajapatis or progenitors. But by their association with Narada Muni, and because Narada Muni knew Lord Krishna by then, they decided that they didn't want to do anything with this material world and this creation. That's when Lord Brahma cursed them to become 5-year-old kids. Thereafter, he created others, and one of them was Manu, and Manu's daughter is Diti, and Diti was married to the Kashyapa Mahamuni. One of the daughters is Diti, married to Kashyapa Mahamuni. The other daughter is Devahuti, married to Kardama Muni. Yes? Hare Krishna? Clear on this part?
Yes, Prabhu.
Diti and Devahuti, their marriage. And Diti's was mentioned because how Daityas, the Rakshasas, were born, and Devahuti's was mentioned later to say how if somebody is devotional, even through Sankhya Yoga, one can become devotional. And also there is the second aspect of this story. If we typically take Bhagavad Gita, right? In Bhagavad Gita, if you see the second chapter Sankhya Yoga, right? Prior to that, Arjuna talks about all negatives. Yes? In the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yes or no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Then what does Krishna tell him chastising? He says, in the beginning of the second chapter, Klaibyam Asmagava Partha Naitatvopi Yupapadhyate Kshudram Hridaya Dorbalyam Tektotishtha Paradapa. And he also says, Asochan Anasochastam Prajnavadamscha Bhashase Gatasuna Gatasumscha Nanusochanti Panditaha. He says, look, you're talking like a learned man but behaving like a fool. One who is learned doesn't lament about what is bygone or what is going to be upcoming. Right? So, when Krishna mentioned that, he is talking about the negative qualities that Arjuna was possessing at that stage. Yes? Yes or no? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Here also the negative aspects of Prajapati Daksha's daughter and the lineage have been first mentioned, and then the Sankhya Yoga philosophy is being mentioned, which is what Krishna covers in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Make sense?
Yep.
Then of course Lord Brahma, thereafter creates others, including the Swayambhuva Manu, right? Right. Then, because he was angry, Rudra was born, Lord Shiva, he was born, right? And, thereafter, he gave, the 11 opportunity for Rudra to have 11 Rudranis, and, right? And said, look, Manu will be one of your names, right? So that Rudra generated many sons and grandsons, and all of them became, the various Munis and the Prajapatis. Yeah? So then he had Brahma Manasa Putras. Who are they? Marichi, Atri, Anga, Paulashya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrugu, Vasishtha, Daksha, and Narada. Right? Vasishtha was born from his breath, and Narada Muni was born from his thought process. Paulashya from ears, Angira Muni from the mouth, Atri Muni from the eyes, and Marichi Muni from the mind, and Pulaha from the navel or the Nabhi of Brahma. So when all of these manifestations happen, right, Kardama Muni is, who is the husband of Devahuti Devi, daughter of the Swayambhuva Manu, born from the shadow of Lord Brahma, right? But when he heard that a daughter was born, Lord Brahma himself ran after the daughter. He had a daughter Vak who was born, but still seeing the beauty of the daughter, he ran after. So the aspect that is being covered here is in trying to progenate, the material desire for sense gratification increases. Why is this important? Lord Krishna says in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, after Sankhya Yoga, he talks about Buddhi Yoga. There he says, Indriyanam hi charatam yanmanonu vidhiyate tadasya harati prajnam vairnavembavam bhasi. He says the senses are so strong that they run away and they take away the mind like a very, very, huge tornado taking away a huge ship. So similarly in Brahma's case, the mind was taken away. That's why it is being said, alright? Then Brahma had to, when Vak, the daughter of Lord Brahma, advised him what you are doing is wrong, and Brahma's mind started coming back, then he became qualified to have the 4 Vedas, and in the front face of Brahma, gradually the 4 Vedas started to manifest. Then medical science, all those things, everything has come. So one thing we need to remember in the 3rd canto is what it talks about is the how when there is a material affliction, a positive situation, like Diti, daughter of Manu, married to Kashyapa Mahamuni, right, had a negative thought. So, being in a good condition, by material attachment, one can have a negative thought. And the next thing is, even after doing something in the service of the Lord, as although it is asked by the Lord, advised by the Lord to do, and it is done in the service of the Lord, when one gets attached to that service, that particular service in the Rajoguna or the mode of passion, what happens is passion takes over, like in the case of Lord Brahma. Hare Krishna. Is this point clear?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu.
Attachment to the service is good, but attachment to the activity is dangerous, because it can be any time we can perceive it as materialistic activity. Yes, that's how we discussed about the Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha and everything, and then we went on to discuss various aspects of devotional service, etc., that Kapila Muni mentioned as part of Sankhya Yoga and advised Mother Devahuti. Now, in continuing with that, because Maitreya Mahamuni had spoken about Devahuti Devi and Diti Devi earlier, right? Kardama Muni and Kapila Mahamuni, he is now coming and detailing the genealogical table or the lineage of Manu, and particularly the daughters of Manu. Yes? Hare Krishna. Clear on the connectivity between the third canto and the fourth canto?
Yes, Prabhu.
Right. Why the daughters of Manu? Why the daughters of Manu? Because the daughters of Manu were married to the various rishis who were all Prajapatis. Right? Like Aditi Devi was married to Kashyapa Mahamuni. Diti Devi was married to Kashyapa Mahamuni. Aditi Devi was also married to Kashyapa Mahamuni. And she gave birth to Adityas, or all the Devatas. Yes?
Yes.
Now, again in this canto, we have the focus on the positivity as well as the negativity through all this. Right? The positivity being Dhruva Maharaja and his thing, the negativity being Prajapati Daksha. Because how the attachment gives rise to forgetfulness of the position of somebody like Lord Shiva. Right? Hare Krishna. Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, when the Daksha came from Brahma, right?
Yeah, Daksha came from Brahma. Daksha means skillful, he is skilled.
Yeah, so in the similar fashion, Narada came from his thought process.
Correct. See,
why Narada turned into a great devotee, whereas Daksha turned into...
No, Daksha was a Prajapati. He didn't turn into anything bad. He just acted bad under the influence of material nature. Then thereafter, he became good, right?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
The point here is, whomever you are born to, whatever one's birth is, whatever one's situation is, one can turn bad by the association of the material nature.
Material nature.
That's the most important aspect, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Right?
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Prabhu. If you see here, he talks about, he having 3 daughters, Akuti, Devahuti and Prasuti, right? And Devahuti was given to Kardama Muni. Then we have, Ruchi. Akuti was given to Prajapati Ruchi. And what happened? They had a son, Yajna. That Yajna was adopted by Swayambhu Manu. Even though he had 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada, he adopted this son, and Yajna was married to Dakshina, the daughter of Prajapati Ruchi. And then you see from them, you see that, many others were born, like Tosha, Pratosha, Santosha, Yedhna, Kavi, Vibhu, Swahana, Sudeva, and Rochana. Right? And Saptarishis, they became Saptarishis and all of that. Right? Then Swayambhu Manu had Priyavrata and Uttanapada. Right? Then, he handed over Prasuti to Daksha. Right? So therefore, Kardama Muni and Devahuti we have discussed. Now we are discussing Prasuti and Daksha. Right? Make sense? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhu.
We discussed Devahuti Devi and Kardama Muni. Now we are talking Daksha and who? Prasuti.
Prasuti. Yeah.
Daksha and Prasuti. Right?
Yes.
Clear now? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Right. Daksha and Prasuti. Right. Out of the three daughters, Ahuti was given to sage Ruchi, and sage Ruchi gave birth to Yajna and Dakshina, but Yajna was adopted by son Swayambhu Manu, and Yajna and Dakshina later on gave birth to others who became Devatas. Now this Prajapati Daksha, he became the ruler. Now he performed a sacrifice, he had his daughter Sati, we all know that, yes? Lord Shiva was invited, Lord Shiva came, he was sitting in the assembly and he was meditating on the Lord, and then what happens? Prajapati Daksha enters, all the great sages who were assembled there got up, but Lord Shiva didn't get up. He mistook, saying that this guy is my son-in-law, this guy is disrespecting me, and starts calling Lord Shiva all sorts of names. Then there is a huge dispute between Lord Shiva's followers like the Nandi, Bhrungi and others, and Daksha's followers, and the sacrifice gets ruined. Right? Lord Shiva and Mother Sati return. Then he second time attempts a sacrifice, Yajna sacrifice. He doesn't invite Lord Shiva and Mother Sati. But Mother Sati keeps saying, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. Then Lord Shiva says, no, you are not understanding. Your father is a on and on materialistic who is egotic because of his position. He is Daksha who is skilled. His skills have gotten to his head and ego has taken over him. Therefore, it's not advisable for you to go there now. In fact, while saying that, Lord Shiva in this, I think it's the 23rd verse or 20th verse. Yeah, 23rd. Lord Shiva says this. Sattvam vishuddham vasudeva shabditam yadiyate tatra pumana pavruta satvecha tasmin bhagavan vasudevo hi adhokshajo me namasa vidhiyate. He is telling, when he was sitting in that court of the Yajna venue of Prajapati Daksha, what was the state in which he was? He was meditating on Lord Sankarshana. I am always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva in Shuddha Sattva or pure Krishna consciousness. Sattvam Vishuddham, Shuddha Sattvam. Why? Because that consciousness is always a pure consciousness in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Vasudeva, is revealed without any covering. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is
Yes,
this
Prabhu.
clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Why we talk about Shuddha Sattva and the Lord? And in what form Lord gets revealed as Vasudeva? What is the form in which he gets revealed in the Shuddha Sattva? In the Shyama Sundara form, Tribhanga. Tribhanga Shyama Sundara. Right? Shyamam Tribhangam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
That's the Vasudeva. Right? So he tells, look, Your Prajapati, even though he was so skilled at material activities, he couldn't realize my real position. He couldn't recognize me. Right? Now he is performing a second sacrifice, and any sacrifice is offerable to all the devatas. As Mahadeva, I need to also get the oblation, but he hasn't even invited me, while he has invited all the denizens, Gandharvas and everybody. But Mother Sati doesn't listen. She says, I must go, I must go, I must go. She goes there, and what does Prajapati Daksha do? Insult Lord Shiva again. That hurts Mother Sati. She turns around and immolates herself completely using her yoga sadhana powers, and that agitates Lord Shiva. Then the sacrifice is destroyed. Prajapati Daksha's head gets severed. Then Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, everybody come. He gets pacified. Then they get a goat head. So from being a very skilled person, Prajapati Daksha ends up with a goat head. Yes? Then they all advise him that Mother Sati will reappear as Himavati, or daughter of Himalaya, a Parvati Devi, and she would become his wife, and everything. Lord Shiva gets pacified. Then Prajapati Daksha performs the sacrifice properly, etc. Then why mention about Dhruva Chakravarti? Alright, the bad aspect of Prajapati Daksha, who married Prasuti, has been discussed. Why discuss Dhruva Maharaja in this canto? Because, if you remember, I mentioned Prajapati Daksha had two sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada. Yes? Uttanapada had two wives, Suruchi and Suniti. Suniti's son was Dhruva Chakravarti. That is, if you see, Swayambhu Manu's grandson is Dhruva Chakravarti. Make sense? Hare Krishna?
Yes, yes.
So therefore, they are talking about. And look at Uttanapada's two wives. One is Suruchi, one who is very tasty. The other one is Suniti, one who is very, very religious. Right? And again, Kunga Uttanapada, despite being a king, became attracted to Suruchi more than Suniti because sense gratification. Therefore, he didn't give enough time and space to Dhruva Maharaj. So the Balaka Dhruva, the little boy Dhruva, went up to his mother Suniti and said, look, today I wanted to sit in the lap of my father Uttanapada, but I couldn't sit. My aunt Suruchi said that I cannot sit in my father's lap because I am not her son. Is that true? Then Mother Suniti says, yes, it's true. Then he says, I want to get a kingdom bigger than my father's. Okay, what should I do? She says, I don't know. You better go to the forest. There will be many munis there. They are the gurus. They will advise you. So he goes into the forest and keeps walking around. When Narada Muni comes there, well, we know wherever there is a hole, there is Narada Muni's finger to fill. Yes? Whenever there is something, there is a gap, Narada Muni comes to fill. Yes or no?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, Narada Muni comes there, fills the gap by saying, why have you come? He says, look, I wanted a kingdom bigger than my father's, so I have come here to, seek some advice. He says, oh, just chant, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's the mantra with which Srimad Bhagavatam is beginning. That's the mantra which we chant before any discussion on any Vedic scripture. Yes, that's what Narada Muni gave to Dhruva Chakravarti. And the Bala Dhruva chanted that for 6 months with complete faith. And who appeared in front of him?
Alright.
Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu appeared. When Lord Vishnu appeared, he forgot what to do. He was too happy seeing him. Right? Then when Lord Vishnu touched his head with the conch shell, he fell at the feet saying that, oh God, I forgot to offer obeisances. Then Lord Vishnu asked him, well, what do you want? He says, after seeing you, why do I need anything? I have you. What else do I need? Then he says, nevertheless, you started, so I'm giving you Dhruva Loka, that you are Loka, the pole star, and it's all yours, and you are the boss there. And by the way, I'll be with you. I'll be there with you always. So from there, Dhruva Raja returns home, right? Then he fights with Yakshas because they were not doing the right things. But Swayambhu Manu comes and advises his grandson saying that do not fight, that's okay. They have understood their mistake. They will correct themselves. And then Dhruva Raja stops fighting, and he goes back home, back to Godhead. And when he is going back home, back to Godhead, Dhruva Raja asks the Vishnu Dutas, what is happening to my mother? Then they show that she was actually departing ahead of him to Vishnu Loka. Yes? So, describing the greatness of Dhruva Raja, how he was a protector of all the things. Then there is a description of descendants of Dhruva Raja. And of them, the bad guy, King Vena, and the good King Prudhu, both are being mentioned in this canto from Dhruva Chakravarti. Yes? So let's look at the descendants of Dhruva Raja. Particularly, we look at King Vena. Right? So, right? So who is King Vena? There is Anga was the son of Ulmuka, and Anga's son was Vena. So Vena is grandson of Ulmuka. Ulmuka is the son of Chakshushamanu. So Vena was great grandson of Chakshushamanu. Chakshushamanu, right, was the son of Sarvateja. Sarvateja was the son of Dosha. Dosha was the son of Pushparna. Pushparna was the son of King Vatsara. And King Vatsara was the son of Dhruva Chakravarti. Dhruva Chakravarti had two sons, Utkala and Vatsara. Utkala and Vatsara. Utkala, right from his childhood, was always meditating on the Lord and never bothered about material activities, whereas Vatsara was very capable in fruitive activities. Therefore, after Dhruva Raja decided to leave, all the great Brahmanas decided it's better to have Vatsara as the king, and from Vatsara came Utkala. From Vatsara came Pushparna, from Pushparna came Dosha, from Dosha came Sarvateja, from Sarvateja came Ulmuka, from Ulmuka came Anga, Anga came Vena. Vena was the great grandson of Dhruva Chakravarti. Make sense? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Would you have PPTs for these lineages coming when we go deeper?
When we actually discuss each one, Prabhu, then we will go to the actual genealogical table.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Right
Okay.
now, please understand, this is a description of the Swayambhu Manu genealogy. Right, Prabhu? Yes?
Yes,
And
yes, Prabhu.
only the important aspects that are covered in the canto, in those relationships only we will talk. Right?
Okay.
The aspect that you need to remember here is Dhruva Chakravarti had two sons, Utkala and Vatsara. Utkala was never interested in material aspects. Vatsara was capable. Right? So Vatsara became the king, and his sixth great grandson, right, was King Vena. And King Vena was a very bad guy. So much so the Brahmanas, he used to trouble all the Brahmanas and everything. Therefore, they decided that it's time to kill King Vena. So what did they do? They killed King Vena and they churned his thigh bone. From the churning of the thigh bone appeared King Prudhu. In that sense, Prudhu Chakravarti was a 7th great grandson, you can say, or 6th great grandson of Dhruva Chakravarti. Make sense? Then he
Yes,
was
Prabhu.
made the king, King Prudhu. He ruled the entire earth, but when Mother Earth was not doing the right thing, King Prudhu became angry with her. Then she says, look, all the bad guys are doing this. So therefore he says, look, you turn into a cow and you become, I will, protect you from all the bad guys. He protects her. Then Mother Earth turns into a cow and he starts milking Mother Cow, the earthly Mother Cow, and gets all the medicines, all the various herbs, and all the things that are required for everybody to be happy. Thereafter, King Prudhu performs 100 Ashwamedha Yagas to please the Devatas and, completely help Mother Earth become very, very, very abundant. Right? And then Lord Vishnu appears in the sacrificial arena of Maharaja Prudhu and he says, look, I am very pleased with the way you are taking care, yes, of all the things, but you need to meditate upon me as well and continue further. That's where Lord Vishnu, you see, what does he say? My dear king, the constant change of the material world is due to the interaction of the 3 modes of material nature, the 5 senses, the demigods who control the senses, as well as the mind, which is agitated by the spirit soul. All these taken together comprise the body. Since the spirit soul is completely different from this combination of gross and material, subtle material elements, my devotee who is connected with me in intense friendship and affection, being completely in knowledge, is never agitated. So that's what he instructs, saying that do not. Remember, this is the instruction at the beginning of 2nd chapter the Lord Krishna gave to Arjuna. Yes or no? 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Dehinosmin yadha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tadha dehantara prapti dhirastatana muhyati. That same thing he is elaborating here. And then he says, you ask me for any benediction. Right? Then King Prudhu worships him. Right? And, he was very, very happy with his devotional service. That's the way he gave darshana. Right? Then what did he do? Yes? He praised, he glorified the Lord. Yes? And he said, look, worshipped all the devatas, but his mind was captivated by Lord Krishna. Right? See, when the Lord himself, that's the extent to which the Lord appeared in the sacrificial arena, pleased with King Prudhu and purified. Right? Then, what does Maharaj Prudhu do? So, he is invited into his kingdom, everything is done, right? And what did he instruct? And who did he instruct? That's what. Right. In the sacrificial arena, right? Maharaja Prudhu was advising all those who were established. Right? See, Supreme Lord appointed me as the king of the planet. Right? I'm only thinking of doing my duties. Right? You should also execute your duties properly. Right? You need to properly do it, and at the same time you need to serve the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So engage your minds, your words, your bodies in the results of your occupation, duties, and being always open-minded, all render devotional service to Lord Krishna. Alright? See, whatever is covered in the chapter 12, 8 to 12, we discussed, right? Bhagavad Gita. Mayeva madhatatsva may buddhim niveshaya navasishyus mayeva atavurdhana sanshaya adha chittam samadhatum na saknoshi maistram abhyasa yogena tato. Remember that? 10th chapter. And then, yes or no? Engage your mind. If you cannot do that, do the sadhana. If you cannot do that, do work for me. If you cannot do that, offer the results to me.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes? All those things are mentioned here in this. Alright? Your words, your body, your results, your mind, everything. That's what Prithu Chakravarti, before leaving, he advised all the citizens. Then the citizens look at them. How seriously they heard the king. You opened our eyes and revealed how to cross the other side of the ocean of darkness. We are entangled in this material world. We have lost sight of the destination of life. No, now we are going to perform devotional service. We are talking Satya Yuga. We are talking King Prudhu preaching to his citizens. Right? And today, many of the people in India question, why do we preach? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Do you see how baseless and ridiculous it is? Yeah? Yes or no?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, Prabhu.
And therefore, the most important thing from Prithu Chakravarti's thing that we have to understand is the Lord's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela have to be glorified and taught to one and all. Right? Maharaja Prudhu then goes back home, back to Godhead. Then why is Lord Shiva song coming here? Right? Why is Lord Shiva's song coming here after Maharaja Prudhu going back home as per the story? Because we are talking about one king called Prachina Barhi who was expert at material activities and his children called Pracheta. Why is Prachina Barhi important? Right? Right. His other name is Barhisa. Barhisa is son of Maharaja Antardhana, who is the son of his son of Havirdhana, who is the son of Maharaja Antardhana. Right? Antardhana, right, was, Antardhana himself, right, was son of Vijitasva, right? And Vijitasva is the eldest son of Maharaja Prudhu. Make sense?
Yeah.
So Prudhu Chakravarti's son is Vijitasva, Vijitasva's son is Antardhana, Antardhana's son is Havirdhana, and Havirdhana's son is Barhisha. This is great grandson is Barhisha, who is also called Prachina Barhi. And his children are Prachetas. When Prachina Barhi gave birth to Prachetas, he wanted them to become progenitors. But they met Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva actually described, this is the Shiva Gitam in Srimad Bhagavatam that glorifies Lord Vishnu. Bhagavad Gita we have heard. Now we are listening to Shiva Gitam. Similarly, we will hear Prahlada Gitam there in the 7th canto. We will hear Gopi Gitam in the 10th canto. We will hear Brahmara Gitam in the 10th canto, and we will hear Uddhava Gitam in the 11th canto. Yes? So there are many Gitas. The Bhagavad Gita is directly spoken by the Lord. All other Gitas have been spoken by his associates and his devotees. Make sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
Right? So we are here, we are talking about Shiva Gitam. where Lord Shiva is actually, right? Prachetas were asked to travel around, and there they saw a lake. In the great lake there were different types of flowers like kandarpas and everything, right? And the trees were all wonderful. Yeah, along there they saw Lord Shiva emerging from the water of that lake, and they offered their obeisances. And Lord Shiva, being pleased, he said, "You are King Prachinabarhi. So there you go. Hey, you need to understand how to be someone like an expert in fruitive activities like your father, but like how you should surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead." And then he talks about executing the occupational duty for 100 births, can become qualified to become Brahma. We keep discussing this aspect, right? This was mentioned none other than Lord Shiva. Yes? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Clear? Yes?
Yep. Yep.
Right. Because you are devotees of the Lord, you need to worship the Lord. Now you chant one mantra, which is not only transcendental, pure and auspicious, but is the best prayer, right? That you should chant. Please hear it carefully and chant. Right? He is asking them to hear carefully and chant. Right? Right. So he addressed with them. Jitanta Atma Vidvarya Swastaye Swastir Astu Me Bhavata Radhasa Radham Sarvasma Atmane Nama. So he says, the Supreme Person with the following oath: Supreme Person of Godhead, all glories unto you. You are the most exalted of all self-realized souls. Since you are always auspicious for the self-realized, I wish that you be auspicious for me. You are worshipable by the virtue of all perfect instructions you give. You are the super soul. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you as the supreme living being. That's the prayer he started off. Right? So then he continues his Geetam. And see this. Here he mentions about Sankarshana. Sankarshanaya sukshmaya durantaya antakaya cha namo viswaprabodaya pradyumnyantaratmane. My dear Lord, you are the origin of all subtle material ingredients, the master of all integration as well as the master of all disintegration, the predominating deity named Sankarshana. That's why you meditates upon Lord Sankarshana, because as Rudra, he has to disintegrate. Makes sense why Lord Shiva meditates on Lord Sankarshana? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, that's the one he mentioned in that 3rd chapter, 20th verse. Sattvam with 23rd verse. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Sabditam. Yes, that's the meditation he is referring to. And you are also Pradyumna, the master of all intelligence. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So, like that, Lord Shiva sings the Geetam, talking about Pitrulokas, providing Pitrulokas and everything, etc. All those things. And ultimately, finally, because we need to complete the canto, I'm only covering the most important aspects here. So he says, these prayers that I have recited are very pleasing to the Supreme Person of Godhead, and a devotee, if he wakes up in the morning and with folded hands chants these prayers, or lets others hear, they will become free from all fruitive activities. He asked them to recite the prayers. When they recited the prayers, they lost the desire. They lost the desire. Right? They lost the desire. Yes? To become the progenitors. Right? Therefore, what happens when that happened? Right? Right? They worshipped Lord Shiva, and they also started 10,000 years, they started doing chanting these prayers. Right? And Prachina Barhi was performing various activities, fruitive activities, material activities. Then what happens? Narada Muni comes and says, when your sons are doing such a good job, why the hell are you focused on fruitive activities instead of following the path of your sons? Then he says, look, I'm a householder, I'm used to this. Then Narada Muni talks to him about this particular very, very old history called Puranjana. Very, very old history called Puranjana. Pura means what?
Old.
Sorry, Mataji?
Old.
No.
City.
No,
City.
no, no. Pura means it's a city.
City. Yeah.
Right? A kingdom. Right? So, in the kingdom, he goes to hunt into the forest. Right? There, he sees a beautiful lady and he gets attracted and he tries to please her and she never gets pleased, and she gets angry and he is always engaged in pleasing. Right? See how he does that. My dear beautiful wife, when a master accepts a servant as his own man, but does not punish him for his offenses, the service must be considered fortunate. My dear slender maiden, when a master chastises his servant, the servant should accept this as great mercy. So, he is treating his wife like a master. Huh? You see? Right? Yes? Hare Krishna? Do you see the point?
Yes, bro.
Right? And he is surrendering so much. All that because he went into the forest without seeking a permission. Due to my sinful desires, I went to the forest to hunt without asking him. You see that? Yes? And he says, look, I'm willing to punish. Right? Who? Who is he talking to? He killed many animals, right? He decorated his body with surbulan and he took his dinner, right? Right? He was captivated by another's wife, not his own wife. Right? Make sense? Right? Look at this. He had to apologize to his own wife because he got captivated by another's wife. Hare Krishna?
Yes, yes, bro.
So the senses are so strong, that although he was so great, although he was so wonderful, although he was able to take care of many things, once he saw his wife aggrieved because of what he has done, he had to apologize. Right? And look at what he did. He touched her feet, then embraced her nicely, and seated on her, he sat on her lap, in fact, and began to speak. Why is this important? Yeah? Once the wife took him under control, yes, the wife gave him all satisfaction. Look at this. The wife took control of King Puranjana. Yes, he committed a little mistake, but she took control. Yes? Right. Then they got involved. Yes? And everything. Then what happens? Then Chandavega attacks the city of Puranjana. This Chandavega is a Gandharva king. Yes? And he had female soldiers, by the way. When the Chandavega and his followers, tried to plunder the city of Puranjana, right? A 5-hooded snake defends the city. Right? So they have a huge fight. Yeah. The serpent becomes weak. Right? And King Puranjana and his friends living in the city, they all become anxious. Look at it. Until there was that protection, everybody was fine, saying that I had the insurance. Once the insurance dropped, they were all very, very concerned. Here we talk about Jara. What does Jara mean? Daughter of time. Jara means
Janma Mrityu Jara, they're the same thing.
Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. What is Jara? Old age. As time progresses, people become old. Right? So Jara is the daughter of time. So this Jara is usually called Durbhaga. Right? But, she was pleased with a great king. Yes? And daughter of time wandering through the universe, she knew that Narada Muni was a brahmachari, but still she became lusty. And proposed to Narada Muni, please accept me. When he refused to accept her, she became angry and cursed him severely. Right? And says, you cannot stay at one place for a long time. Then Brahmadeva further curses him, you cannot stay anywhere more than 3 days. Right? Because he preached to Kumaras. Right? Then she approaches King of Yavanas, who was known as Bhaya. Right? And accepts him as the husband. So with Jara comes Bhaya. With old age comes fear. What is the fear? Oh, what will happen to me? Who will take care of me? How will I survive? What, that, this and everything. For that, what do we need? Abhaya. What is Abhayam? The Varada Hasta of Lord Krishna. Yes? So that's what has been completely explained. How this fear factor and everything, the Chandavega attacking, and therefore Puranjana becoming weak, and therefore, the Kalakanya, how she has, instilled fear, and then Puranjana, because of meditating on his wife and other person's wife, he becomes a woman in his next life. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejate ante kadaveram tam tameva iti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. Yes. Then Narada Muni talks to Prachina Barihi and he says, okay, look, Pramada is intelligence. The 5 working senses and the 5 knowledge acquiring senses are all male friends of Puranjani, the one who lives in the Pura. Right? So now he is describing how the entire Pura is made up of this body. The Pura is this body. Puranjana is the Jivatma. Yes? Yes? The entire body, the 5 working senses, the 5 knowledge senses, the tanmatras, the sense objects, all those things are being described. The body is being described. Yes?
Yes.
How the old age and everything, the birth, death, disease and old age happens, all of that is being described by Narada Muni to Prachina Barihi. And then he also starts meditating on Lord Krishna, and Prachetas keep singing that song, and when they keep singing the song for thousands of years, right, they continue doing that. Then finally Narada Muni comes and instructs them. And Narada Muni instructs Prachetas. Right? Then they went home, and after practicing the yogasanas and everything, right, they talk to Narada Muni, and Narada Muni tells them, look, when a living entity is born to engage in devotion, so Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is his birth, all his fruitality, lifespan, his mind and his words are factually perfect. You guys have met Lord Shiva, understood everything, understood the devotion service. Therefore, even after ruling the kingdom, you are very, very great. Yes, yes, and you are everything. Then what happens? After instructing, there is a case of Maharaja Priyavrata also being instructed. Yes, here. Uttanapada. I shall now try to relate the activities of descendants of Priyavrata. So till now, all the descendants of Uttanapada have been connected. Now the descendants of Priyavrata are being connected. In that descendants of Priyavrata, the mention is happening, and this is where all the discussion is going on. So into the next canto, we will see the descendants of Maharaja Priyavrata eventually. Who was the son of Uttanapada and Priyavrata? Who were the sons of?
Daksha.
Please recollect.
Daksha.
Dhruva Chakravarti, right? Uttanapada's son. So Uttanapada's son was Dhruva. Sorry, who was Uttanapada's father? Manu. They were sons of Manu. Manu. Yes. Remember the three daughters, Akuti, right? Devahuti and Prasuti. Right? Then Yajna was another son. And then we talked about Priyavrata and Uttanapada. Right? Now Uttanapada lineage has been covered. Now Priyavrata lineage will be covered. Clear, Prabhu and Mataji? Now third, fourth and fifth cantos are becoming part of the entire cosmos manifestation and creation. This is the reason. Because it's coverage of the actual lineage of Swayambhuva. Make sense? Hare Krishna. Any questions? Any comments?
Yes, Prabhu. One question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prabhu, here Dhruva Maharaj, Narada Muni gave mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Yeah.
That looks like, it's the topmost, but we are chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So, in that context,
This is
how
for
to
Kali Yuga, Prabhu. That was for Satya Yuga. Okay, from Satya Yuga, that's the mantra that guided all scriptural study. Right? But for Kali Yuga, for practice purposes, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the way. In Kali Santana Upanishad, we have discussed this verse many times.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Iti Shodasana Nam Kali Kalma Shunasanam Natah Partaropaya Sarva Vedeshu Drushyate. Yes, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
So, it's very, very simply, right, that Mahamantra is the source for Kali Yuga. But Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is applicable to every Yuga for the study of the Vedic scriptures. Yes, Prabhu? Just like Om Keshwaya Swaha, Om Narayana Swaha, Om Madhavaya Swaha is applicable to every yajna sacrifice, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is applicable to every Veda Jnana Yajna. Clear, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhu. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Prabhu. Now,
Prabhu,
why
also-
no, sorry, I'll complete here, Prabhu.
Yes.
Why
Yes.
did Narada Muni advise this to Dhruva Chakravarti? Right? Because he wanted to realize Lord Vishnu.
Mhm.
That is Veda Jnana, Veda Vijnana. Yes, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Makes sense? Not only Satya Yuga, but it's also Veda Vijnana. Yes, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, Prabhu. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Prabhu, also see all these stories are like what happened, like Brahma's daughter, he's going back of daughter, all these things. When we say Amala Puran and these kind of topics, when it comes like, the understanding, even the outsiders, when you talk to them or discuss with them, it's, hard to, make them convince us. We ourselves, if we are not convinced, then, generally materialistic point of view, when we think of it, it's hard. Those kind of, how to understand that.
Yes, Prabhu. When do we wash our clothes?
They are dirty.
So first we need to know what is dirty before we know what is clean. Unless we know the mala, we don't know the amala and vimala. Right? If we know mala, we know what is amala, right? That which is not dirty. And we learn how to make it vimala or without dirt. Yes, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Yes. Therefore, the purpose of these things is to tell us, look, understand how those such great personalities like Lord Brahma are also influenced by the material nature and by the material activities they perform. Do not get attached to the material activity that you are performing. That's the instruction being given. So when we are talking to others, number one, if they're brand new people, better not to discuss the intricacies of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? It's better to discuss only Bhagavad Gita, right? And other positive Purana Leelas.
Other religious people, they will come with those kind of things. No?
Sorry, Prabhu?
Other religious people will come, point out such things.
When other religious people come, you tell them very simply, look, this is captured here to show how people doing a great job can also fall down, right? So that we are cautious and conscious and don't let that happen to us. That's it, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But to them, it's better to not discuss this Brahma running after his daughter. Rather, we can take other examples other than Lord Brahma.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
You mentioned Swayambhava Manu's daughter is Devahuti.
No,
And you also mentioned...
that was a mistake on my part. I was going to correct in the next class. Right? Devahuti is actually a daughter's daughter.
Oh, okay. And you also mentioned that shadow daughter of Brahma. I didn't get what is shadow.
No. Lord Brahma's shadow was Vak.
Oh,
Okay, please understand. There was a shadow of Lord Brahma, the daughter called Vak. Right? What does Vak mean? Speech.
which?
Yes? Right. So
Yes,
that
sir.
speech was too attractive and he became very, very, overly attracted. Then she says, no, use your speech for the right direction. Yes, Mataji?
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thanks, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Any
Krishna.
other questions or comments?
Prabhuji, we were talking about Narada being cursed, but Narada curse is always a blessing because of his curse only, like he could travel around
Yeah.
all the
It's a
three
blessing.
people.
It's a blessing, but the reality is he was cursed.
Okay.
Yes, Mataji?
Yeah. Okay, Prabhuji.
Any other questions or comments? Okay then, Hare Krishna. We will stop here, right? We will stop here and we will continue in the next class. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Srimad
Thank you.
Hare
Bhagavatam ki
Krishna.
jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitya
Jai.
Sitana Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.